What's up guys, it's Marieta. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I'm going to talk about EB5 Green Card, and as you can see behind me I have a whiteboard where I'm actually briefly discussing the overview of EB5, and I'm gonna wait for you guys to jump on this live Q&A so you can ask me questions. Now if you join this live Q&A, I just want to know where you're from and what business you are in, and if you are interested in EB5 or possibly E2. And before I even start talking about this EB5 green card, I want to mention that there has been another extension, because if you are a little bit familiar with EB5, you probably already know that EB5 is going to, the program is supposed to end. The program was actually to end in September, but there has been extension, so the program is extended till December. So the program is extended till December 8th, and that means that you can still apply, and all these requirements that I'm going to cover today are still valid. So what we can expect, what are the changes that we are expecting, is the main change is that actually it's a pretty big change, because 70% increase of investment, it's a big deal. So we are expecting 70% of increase in investment. So what are the main requirements? So the main requirement is that you invest into either a regional center project, or you, as you can see here, number one, you invest either $500,000 in regional center project, or you invest into targeted employment areas. And so what are these targeted employment areas? These are the areas where there is a high unemployment rate, or rural areas. So what are the rural areas? Areas that there are less than 20,000 population. So if you invest $500,000 into these areas, you will be able to receive EB5 green card. The another option is you invest $1 million, and you invest $1 million into any kind of commercial enterprise. So it can be anything. It can be any kind of commercial enterprise that you own. It can be your business, but the thing is you have to hire 10 people within the first 2 years. Now these are the requirements as of now. As I mentioned, there's going to be a change. There's going to be a reform, and actually this program is in place since 1990. So there is going to be increase of investment up to 70%, which is huge. So this program is still valid till December 8, 2017, and then you should expect the change. The change, as I mentioned, will be 70% increase of investment. So if you want to invest into regional centers, the $500,000 will go up to 1.3, which is huge, right? So no more $500,000. It's going to be 1.3 million that you have to invest into regional centers or targeted employment areas. If you want to invest into your own business, most likely the increase will be 1.8, which is almost double. So almost 2 million you have to invest into your own business if you want to do your own kind of business, if you want to invest into your own commercial enterprise. Okay, so that's a huge thing. Now, I don't see your questions, guys. I'm not sure why. Let me see. Swipe, want to know. Okay, who is there? Let me know who is there and what is your question. So tell me your name, where you're from, and also let me know if you are already in business and if you want to expand to the US, and what kind of business do you run, and then we can discuss your case if you would be able to qualify. So I already briefly discussed the main requirements. Now I also want to talk about the difference between EB5 and E2. And then we're going to cover what are the treaty countries, what projects to invest, what is the processing time, and where you should apply for your EB5, whether it's your home country or in the US. And then we're also going to discuss the timeline and the removal of the condition. Very briefly, I already did and actually posted recently on my Facebook page, ImmigrationBiz, the overview of the process. So you can watch those videos. So I'm not really going to dive deep into details like what is the process like. But I want to talk about the overview of EB5, the updates about EB5 and also what is the difference between EB5 and E2. Because if you are a little bit familiar with my videos, like I talk a lot about investor visa, especially E2 visa. E2 visa are only visa for certain people from certain countries. So these are called treaty countries. So only certain individuals can actually apply for E2. So you gotta be from a treaty country, and there is no requirements with E2, like what is the minimum. By the way, guys, you can interrupt me anytime. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you so much for your likes, for your heart. And if you like this video, please click the button share and share it with your friends so more people can join us and more people can ask questions and we can have a fruitful conversation, right? That's why these live Q&As are. Thank you so much for your likes. Okay, so the E2 is basically, there's no minimum, no maximum, which is great. You gotta be coming from the country, treaty country, in order to be able to apply, right? So if you're not from a treaty country, tough luck, you cannot even apply. However, for EB5 green card, anybody can apply, which is great. So you don't have to be necessarily from the treaty country. Hi, Mafaz, how are you? Do you have any question? Please feel free to ask. So with EB5, you don't need to be from a treaty country, which is wonderful. However, there is the requirement of the minimal investment, which is $500,000 as of now. But expect the change to be higher number, which is going to be the minimum 1.3. Of course, this is just estimation. We don't know where this going to go. Maybe the program will end. Personally, I don't think that the Trump administration wants to end this program, taking into consideration that majority of EB5 investors are from China. These are wealthy Chinese investors who are investing into very big development projects. And actually, I read the article today that one of them was invested into one of the Trump buildings. So personally, I don't think that Mr. Trump would want to cancel this program. Of course, he's not the one who is going to make the immigration reform. So I'm not going to discuss the process, how the law is made in the US. But my opinion is that this program will not be canceled. What might happen is that the investment will be increased, like I mentioned already today, 70% increase. This is something that has been talked about actually in the recent 2 years. So the extension is going every 3 months or 4 months. There is extension. They talk about the cancellation of the program and then they do extension. So, but you never know, right? Because now, given the thing that there is a Trump, he might push the reform, and we just don't know. So the program is in place till December 8th. Then we have to see. Now, so the main difference between EB5 and E2 is that green card is a green card, which is the permanent residency card. E2 is just a visa. It's just non-immigrant visa. So how is this going to impact you? If you go to the US on non-immigrant visa, E2, as an investor, you can stay in the US, you can live in the US, you can build your life in the US. However, only till the business is up and running and profitable. Because you have to ask for extension every 2 years. In some states, it's every 5 years, depending on the treaty between your country where you're coming from and the US. But every 2 or 5 years, you have to extend the visa. So every time you're extending your visa, you have to show that the business is up and running, is active, you're managing it, and you're paying taxes. So something goes wrong with the business, you will lose your status. So this is the main difference. And you can stay in the US only on E2 visa if you run this particular business that is tied to your E2 visa, right? On the other hand, with EB5, once you get the green card, once you receive the green card, now, even if you go out of business in the future, nobody's going to kick you out of the country, because once you receive a green card, you stay there permanently if you want to, right? And later on, you can apply for citizenship. So that is the path to become a United States citizen of United States, which is huge, right? Because with E2, you cannot really do that. With EB5, you can certainly do that. So that allows you to live in the US, reside in the US, and become a citizen if you choose to. If you don't want to become citizen, you can still keep your residency forever, right? So I think that's a big deal. Hi, Fergus. I'm actually looking like that because the comments are, so don't think I'm like crazy by doing that with my head. I have to read your comment like that. So, yeah, so if you want to become a permanent resident, then you have to consider green card. E2 is just a temporary, even though there are people who can keep E2 status forever, as long as the business is running forever, right? Okay, so that is the main difference. And also the difference is that with E2, there is no limit how many E2 visas per year can be issued. The only limit is the treaty country, like I mentioned. You have to be coming from a treaty country, and if you're coming from a treaty country, there is actually no limit how many people from those countries can apply for E2. So even like 1 million people, just theoretically, can apply for E2. On the other hand, with EB5 Green Card, there is a limit. Every year, there are only issued 10,000 EB5 Green Cards, which kind of sucks, because that means that only 10,000 people can apply for this green card. By the way, I don't understand the logic. Why? Because if someone wants to pour money to the US economy, they should allow more people to do that, right? Taking into consideration the numbers that you are investing the minimum of $500,000 and they're expecting to invest now increase into 1.3, I don't personally see the reason why. Now, in reality, in the recent years, actually in 2016, almost 90% of all applications were coming from China. And in general, probably 75 to 85% applications, EB5 applications are coming from China. So Chinese nationals, wealthy individuals, they are buying these cards. The rest is coming from Vietnam, South Korea. Some of them are also coming from Brazil, Russia, Venezuela. So these are mainly the countries where people are applying for EB5. Again, there is no limit, and the only limit is that there has to be only 10,000 visa application process each year. Maybe it's going to change with the next upcoming immigration reform. Maybe not. So if you have the capital ready, $500,000, that you want to invest in the US, you can do so. Either you're going to invest through regional center. Now, what is the regional center? These centers are, there is about minimum of 1,000 regional centers around the US. They are running these projects, different kind of projects. Majority are in real estate development, restaurants, hospitalities. These are the main projects, majority of them. They're approved by the government. And once you invest $500,000 into these projects, then you will be able to apply for EB5. The another option is that you can invest $500,000 outside of the regional center. The good thing about regional center is that you don't have to worry about hiring 10 people. With this EB5 program, you have to hire 10 people, which are either residents or citizens of the United States. So no family members, no friends from your country, right? So if you want to manage the business, if you want to be actively involved in the business, then I say this is a good option. If you want to hire 10 people, you can invest into your own business. And you either invest $1 million into your own commercial enterprise, or you invest $500,000 if the business is in targeted employment areas that I'm actually showing here on the whiteboard. Targeted employment areas, and those are the areas either with high unemployment rate. So there are specific areas around the US with high unemployment rate, or the areas that are basically rural areas. So those are villages or small towns with population less than 20,000 people. Okay, so if you invest into those areas, into your own business, you can still get EB5 with $500,000 of investment. However, if you just feel okay, I just want to invest into any kind of business that is outside of these targeted employment areas, outside of the rural areas, then is this good for me? No, then you have to invest 1 million, and again you have to hire 10 people within first 2 years. So you will get only conditional green card. Okay. Now with the regional center, you don't have to worry about creation of these jobs, which I think it's a plus. If you don't want to be engaged, if you don't want to actively participate in the business, it's sort of you making a loan. Now, oftentimes these regional centers are promising these big good results, like there is going to be a good return on investment, blah blah blah. In reality, it's not true. So you have to be very careful, like where you investing. What is this regional center good regional center? Now, I'm not investment advisor, so I cannot even give you advice. I can just give you a suggestion, but not as a lawyer. Definitely that's not my expertise, and I'm not licensed to do that. But you have to be very careful, like where you're going to invest your money. You have to really do serious due diligence where your money is going to go if you are considering to invest into especially regional center projects, because some of these projects are failing. So you got to be very careful. Now, if you invest, it's sort of like a loan, and they're promising return on investment. Oftentimes it's not true in reality. So basically it's like buying your own card. Now, especially now with Chinese investors, like they have to wait. So almost sometimes in some cases almost like 7 to 10 years, because the processing time is just so long due to the backlog, because there's so many people that they were applying in the recent years. So another option for you would be that you consider your own projects, you consider to invest into your own businesses, you consider to invest into your own commercial enterprise. In that case, you will have full control over your business, and you have full control over your funds, and then you have to hire those 10 people that I already mentioned. Okay, so this is like comparison, like where you can invest and what will be the best solution for you. Majority of these projects, as I mentioned, are usually real estate projects, development projects. Of course, it's not a requirement, so you can be creative and you can invest into project that you think is suitable for you. So you can keep that in mind, and you don't have to worry like, okay, you have to invest just into real estate. All right, so I already discussed what are the 3D country. I compare EB5 with E2. Now, where to invest the project, like I already mentioned, majority are real estate, but you can be creative. It's up to you. But you have to keep in mind but within 2 years, you have to hire 10 people. So it has to be full-time positions, excuse me, full-time positions with, you have to hire either citizens or residents. So what is the timeline? Usually it takes about 36 months. So it's between 2 and 3 years to get your green card, your EB5 green card. First, you're going to get a temporary conditional card for the first 2 years. During these 2 years, you have to show that you have hired 10 full-time people, the business is up and running, you have invested the whole amount, and then you will be able to apply for the removal. So the removal of your the condition. So once you remove the condition, then you will get a permanent green card. So once you have the permanent green card, you're good to go. If something goes wrong with the business in the future, you still keep your green card, which is amazing, because that means that you can pretty much at some point become a citizen of the US, or nobody's going to kick you out of the US. So I think it's a big deal for many people, especially if they want to move to the US permanently. Alright guys, so now, as I mentioned, this is a program that is valid till December 8th, and then there's gonna be a change, most likely the increase of 70%. Now, if you have any questions, I actually made a comparison between EB5, L Visa, and E2 in the brochure, so you can download the brochure at immigrationbiz.com/brochure. I posted the link here. And I also, I'm creating a group where you can ask me anything. If you have any questions, you can join the group and sign up at immigrationbiz.com/ask me anything. This is especially for people who are considering to starting a business in the US, are entrepreneurs. They want to first start a company, they want to invest. And this is not just for people who are wealthy and they can invest $500,000. Well, these people, I usually work one-on-one, but this is for people who are thinking to start small and then later on expand. And this is the process usually takes at least, especially like E2 visa, at least like 6 months or sometimes even more. So if you need a guidance, because you will need a guidance, this is group for you. So again, you can check out the group at this link here, right there. And of course, you can email me at office@immigrationbiz.com. And yeah, so I hope this video helps you guys. If you have any questions, you can ask me now, because we're gonna soon wrap up this live Q&A, and I'm happy to answer it for you. Another thing I want to mention is that sometimes people want to go to the US, move to the US, and see how the business will be able to expand. So what I can do, if you are from the treaty country, you can move to the US on E2, and then you can see how is the business going, and eventually you might be able to apply for EB5, right? So it's sort of like you go, hi Sheikh, how much money is required? With E2, there is no minimum maximum. With EB5, the minimum is $500,000 as of now. There might be a change in the future because the program is going to expire in December 8th. So with $500,000, you get permanent residency through EB5 program. With E2, it's just the visa that allows you to live and reside in the US as long as you are involved with your own business. So it's a non-immigrant visa category. EB5 is a permanent visa category. So that's the main difference. Okay, so sometimes people, they want to take it slowly. So they move to the US on E2 if they're from treaty country, and then they see, and then they can later apply for EB5. But it's going to be a separate petition. It's not like you move to the US on E2 and you will be immediately eligible to apply for EB5. No, it's not like that. Also, you have to keep in mind that there is going to be a change for sure. The immigration reform is coming. So I cannot guarantee, like, we don't know what are going to be the requirements. Most likely 70% increase will be the requirements. How long does it E2 visa stay? With E2 visa, you can stay as long as you are managing your business, and the initial E2 will be issued for 2 or 5 years. That really depends where you're coming from what country. With EB5, you can stay forever. Well, EB5 is a permanent residency. Once you receive the permanent EB5, then you can stay in the US forever. So meaning, like, when the condition is removed, first you will get the EB5 for 2 years, then the condition will be removed, and then you will receive a permanent EB5. So that means, like, you will basically be able to stay forever permanently. That's a residency. You get the residency through this high investment. With E2, you can stay only if you are managing your business. If something goes wrong with the business, you will lose your E2 visa. That's why it's called non-immigrant visa. With EB5, even if something goes wrong with the business, you will still keep your residency, your permanent residency. Of course, I'm talking about later, not within the first 2 years. You are getting the conditional EB5 for first 2 years, and then later, when you remove the condition, they see that the business is going well. You know, you're paying these 10 people, you hired 10 people. Then you will be able to remove the condition, and then you will receive the permanent card. So I think that way you will be able to, at some point after 5 years, to apply for a citizenship. Yes, there is always chance to expand your E2. You can keep expanding. Actually, there is no limit. You can keep expanding your E2 as long as you are in business. So you can actually keep doing it forever, as long as you want, but you always have the risk. What are the conditions of E2? So with E2 you have to invest substantial amount of capital. Substantial means that you have to, there's no minimum, there's no maximum, and it can be anywhere from 50,000 to 500,000. It's really up to you how much you invest, and also it depends like what kind of business you want to invest, because some businesses require the minimum investment is higher than other businesses. So I would need to know what kind of business you want to start, and then it really depends on that. But basically you can keep expanding, and you will be able to stay in the US, and you will be able to apply for driving license, or state ID, and also social security number if you are on E2 visa. These are the essential documents that you need to live in the US. So if your investment is 50,000, that's fine, but I need to know what is the business. So why don't you tell me the business? Sheikh, what kind of business you have? Because for some businesses 50,000 is fine, but for others it's not. Like, it's really relative term. Like, there is no minimum maximum, but it doesn't mean that every business needs to invest 50,000. The law doesn't say that, but you have to be thinking about the requirement, which is substantial. It has to be substantial investment to your particular business. So the question is 50,000 substantial to your particular business? I need to know what is this business about? So if you're Social Security, that's fine. However, keeping in mind that even if you, once you receive the Social Security, maybe like you went there as on a work visa, which is great, but then once the work visa expires and you keep working on and you still have your Social Security, that is illegal. You know what I mean? So you have to have a valid visa and work and use the same Social Security. Okay, I want to study. What will be the process? Okay, I already discussed like how to study in my previous live Q&A, and you can also go to our YouTube channel, ImmigrationBiz, where you can check out like how to study in the US. And we're gonna also share another video how you can get a student visa later today. So why don't you stay tuned and check our page later today, and also check out the YouTube page, ImmigrationBiz, because I did many videos on this. Today I'm not discussing how to get a student visa, but basically you have to be enrolled in school, get I-20, and then you will be able to move to the US on student visa. Okay, I would like to open a kiosk in mall. All right, great. So with kiosk investment, I think that 50,000 might be good. That might be substantial. You have to really make your own research. If this is substantial amount to start the business in the mall, then I think that should be fine. Also, you have to check if you are coming from the treaty country. So where are you from? Because that is big. Like, only people who are from treaty countries can apply. And once you move to the US on E2, later on you can, if the business goes well, you can later on apply to EB5, but there is no direct path, so that will be like a separate filing. Now, for people who are not from the treaty countries, their option would be possibly L visa, but also L visa is a little bit tricky because it's more suitable for bigger companies who are expanding to the US, opening affiliate. You already had what? E2 visa or Social Security? I'm a little bit confused. So if you already had E2 visa in the past, then I just say like you need to extend the visa, and you can do the extension either in the US or you can do it in your home country. Well, I always recommend to do it in home country, because when you extend the visa in the home country, then you will receive the visa stamp, which is, I already have a kiosk in the shopping mall. Awesome. So if you're already running the kiosk in the shopping mall, what kind of visa are you on? Let me ask you that, because if you are on, for example, if you are in the US on B visa, some people do that. They go to the US on B visa, they start a business, and when they start a business on B visa, technically they can start a business, they can incorporate, they can do business meetings, but they should not be able to run the business on B visa. It's illegal. You have to change the status. You change the status either in the US or in your home country. And again, like, I suggest to apply in your home country. The reason is that if you apply in home country, you can then get a stamp. When you get a stamp, you can travel. You can travel freely back and forth, and there are no limits. Like, if you need to travel outside of the US, you can return anytime, as long as you have the visa stamp in your passport, valid visa stamp. If you are in the US and you are just on B visa and you're doing the change of status, then you get a notice of approval, but it's approval of your status. That doesn't mean that you can travel with this approval. You would still need to go to the US embassy in your home country and apply for the visa. So it's like a double process. I previously was in the US as a student. Okay, so I'm assuming that you either had a business in the past or someone is running the business for you. And either way, like, you can use the same corporation if you incorporate it, and you can invest 50,000 now, sort of reinvest more money, and you will be able to get E2 if you put the business plan together and all the package will be properly put together. You will be able to get E2. So I think that you should definitely do that as long as the business is still active. Oh, you had business in the past. Okay, that's fine. Well, you could start a new one. You could technically use the same LLC if you still have the corporation, the LLC or the corporation, if it's still alive. I mean, if you close down the company, then you will have to incorporate again. But basically, you can definitely, I think, do the same business model if it was already working for you in the past, and you can invest 50,000 and get in. Okay, so, and of course, like, if you are not from the treaty country, then I say consider L visa. But again, like, today's Q&A is particularly about EB5. So this is a green card for investors. Okay, do I have to start a business? You have to start a business first and then get the visa. Yeah, you have to basically incorporate the company and you have to invest. You have to show the money are committed and are in the process of investing or being invested. So if you just open a LLC or corporation and you wire the money to the US, that's it. That's not gonna be enough to be able to apply for a visa. Your funds must be committed and funds must be invested or be in a process of investing, and you are bearing the risk of investment. So I discussed a lot about E2 in the previous videos, guys. YouTube channel ImmigrationBiz, definitely check it out. Like, hundreds of videos on this topic. And so let's stick with EB5 Green Card. Okay, so EB5 is for investors who are investing $500,000 or minimum or 1 million into commercial enterprise, their own commercial enterprise. EB5 is a great way to get a green card if you are considering seriously to live permanently in the US. I think, if you ask me personally, this is probably the easiest way to get a green card. I'm not talking about the lottery. If you win a green card, then it's probably the easiest way ever. So I would also, guys, encourage you to apply for DV lottery because it's coming up. I think it's coming up. It's like in like 2 weeks. So definitely don't forget to apply for a DV lottery. And another option is through investment. Of course, this is concerning people who are able to invest. Another thing is you might loan the money. It has to be a legal source. So even if you don't have the money, you can consider any legal source. And my opinion is that if you have the money and you want to live in the US, don't wait, because the reform is coming up and it's going to seriously be like 70% more than it's right now. So there won't be an option $500,000 get a green card. There will be like 1.3 minimum, 1.3 million. So really, if you seriously want to move to the US, now is the time to do it. Right now, before the end of the year. Actually, end of December 8th. So, okay guys, a last question and then I'm gonna wrap up. So, can I qualify for E2? Yes, I already answered that question, Shay. You can qualify for E2 if you are from a treaty country. So check if your country of origin is the treaty country, and then I would definitely, if I were you, I would definitely apply for E2, and also check my brochure where I put together the comparison between E2, EB5 and L visa at ImmigrationBiz.com/brochure right here. You can download the brochure for free and see the main difference between these visas and the main requirements. Okay guys, so thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm doing every week, Tuesday, same time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, live Q&A. So if you have any questions that you want me to talk about next time, please shoot them. You can send me email at office@immigrationbiz.com, or you can actually post them below this video. And also he's asking, where can I find out the treaty country? The treaty country is in my brochure, and I did the brochure. Like I mentioned, it should be included in the brochure. So there is a list of requirements and the treaty countries, so you will be able to find all the details that you need if you want to get your E2. And also I did a video on this, so check out our Facebook page, ImmigrationBiz. And I just did a video this week. I posted a video where I talk about like the list of treaty countries. So it's kind of boring video, but I discuss what are the treaty countries. And also you can find so many free videos on YouTube, ImmigrationBiz channel. So everything you need to know about E2 is there. And of course, if you have questions, more questions, you can post them below those videos, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next week. Bye.